Now it won't fray.
All right, so we're recording.
Wait, you have those, but we don't have the paper.
Right, so I'm not giving this to you yet because it's so awkward and it could totally change. So this is how it looks so far. So we had 11-1 was not normal because we didn't have a quiz. We had a mixed review instead of a quiz. And we had to do the additional practice. Okay. 11-2 was normal. 11-3, I'm not giving you a quiz, but requiring that you do the additional, not requiring, okay, that it's extra credit.
Is there any enrichments?
There are enrichments for everything. 11-4, I'm not requiring the quiz, and this is going to be extra credit. Okay, so that's weird. And then 11-5 and 11-6, which is in the book, doesn't have any online work. So this is just going to be, it's really weird. So we're going to have our normal paper review over everything. So some of you think that 4 is the last, like today is going to be the last section before we start getting ready for the test. It's not true. We actually have 11-5 and 6. Not sure if that's going to be one day or two.
I thought this was 11-3.
You're snapping at me?
I thought this was 11-3.
I thought this was 11-3, not 11-4.
We're doing 11-3 and 4 today.
Oh, it says and 4 on there.
Can you film 5 and 6 so we can do it over break? And then we can, like...
No, I don't watch the videos.
No, I'm not doing more math over break.
Oh my God.
Okay, so topic 11, we'll have a review over the whole chapter, paper and online version. There are 4 enrichments. You have to do 2 of the 4. Honestly, one of them is, or you have to 2 of the 4, but yeah. So looking at them, I think the first one is like 3 questions. Is that right? Did you do it already? So you should be able, I don't want to interrupt your conversation.
All the enrichments are like 1 or 2 questions.
I can continue. Okay. You got to get 2 already's done like normal. 1 this week. Only 1 person has it done this week in this class.
I can't do 1.
Why?
I don't have already.
Okay. Sunday. It's got to be done by Sunday. If you get it done Sunday at 12:05, it's too late. Okay.
Technically, that would be Sunday.
Monday.
Yeah, that would be
I don't know. That's really weird.
12:05 in the morning.
Monday at 12:05. Extra credit for Rachel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Where's 11-3 and 11-1?
There was no 11-1 group quiz. Remember, there is no 11-3 group quiz because we're doing 2 together. But there is a 5 and 6. So the only thing we're doing in 5 and 6 are group quizzes. Yeah.
Are you like taking this job? It's like it's been here for forever.
I can't wait till this break starts.
Hey, Rachel, lift your finger.
And of course, we have extra.
No.
Rachel, be Dr. Mercy right now.
I'm like, that was dumb.
I'm telling Anthony you look strong.
Go jump off of a bridge.
Oh, and now don't wipe it on my desk.
Wait, what did she just do?
Yeah, let's drop off of her finger. Then put it on the desk.
Excuse me, what are you doing?
It's not chips.
So whoa.
Rachel.
I'm just gonna be
Okay, just so we're clear, you licked your finger. Then you proceeded to stick your finger on my desk. Then you proceeded to wipe your hand on my favorite towel with your, no, I don't, that towel is dead to me now.
Wash your hands.
There's a
Wash
sink.
your hands.
Do you have Clorox? Yes.
No, I'm afraid of what she would do to my Clorox brush.
If you
Wash your hands.
he'll be mad at you.
Would you like to wash your hands?
I already did.
I never heard
Did the water turn on?
No.
You either wash your hands here or in the bathroom.
I like my mom. This smells like my mom to my little brother after he uses the bathroom. Wash his
Your
hands.
hands?
My mom before dinner.
Sing
Oh,
happy.
you wasted his favorite water, dude.
Oh my God.
Come on, man.
Way more water.
Come on, Rachel.
Can't believe you touched the handle.
Yeah.
That was way too fast.
Oh my God.
No, please, just, that was good. We'll call it good enough.
Stop
your hands
banging.
dry?
That was all my fault, you know?
Mark would have told me to, I would have done it.
Uh-huh.
Well, he never said no balls or heard you wouldn't, so like you didn't have to do
You
it.
had to do it.
He just said lick your finger. He never said no balls. You don't. I heard you wouldn't. He never said any of that. So
I don't know.
Heard you wouldn't.
You didn't say anything like that. You didn't have to do anything.
Put your head in the trash can. Heard you wouldn't.
Stop.
I'm starting to reevaluate my whole life. And all my poor choices that led me to this
And
seat.
to this day, to this one day, there's no sanity without certain people in this.
I think I'm ready.
Sanity. How about there's no insanity without certain people?
Oh, we're already insane anyway, so.
You can't feel insane without
like working on a time machine.
You can't say impossible without possible.
wait a minute.
Yeah, I don't hate you.
You can't say no.
I'm just ready for a break. All right, so here's our notes. There's only 4 questions. So basically, long story short, if you want to just do, if it's posted online, so if you're going, why isn't there a group quiz? You don't have to do one. If you do everything else online, you're going to do some and extra credit. Okay, hold on. You just get excused from it if you couldn't take it.
You think they watch the notes or they figure this out from somebody's?
Yeah, he just missed everything.
Okay, so what we have to know when this shape gets oblique like this or pushed over or however you want to do it, it's the height is still straight up and down. When you, even though it's a weird shape, it's still up and down, okay? If I gave you this height, that would be no good to us. That's called slant height. We can't use that. Yeah.
What if the shape is slanted, like, here's the base, what if it's slanted off the base?
You mean if this point here is past it, like over here?
Yeah.
Like that slinky.
That's a great question. I think it's still work.
So, yeah. And we still need the height. From the ground to the top.
That'd be weird.
Where'd Johnny come from?
So it'd be like glue. So
I've just been verified to the trends.
So thinking about the quarters, right? If you have $10 worth of quarters stacked up, it's going to be the same volume as $10 worth of quarters no matter what you do. What you're saying is you're going to stack those quarters up in a way that this last quarter is not underneath. It's way off. It's still going to be the same volume, okay, no matter what. The only thing is, physics would say you can't do this. You'd have to like glue them, okay? But it would still be the same volume. But basically what we have to realize is that right there does us no good. It's odd that you have your back completely to the notes. As if like you're protesting the
Class.
So all shapes are going to be, for volume, is area of the base. So figure out whatever your base is, okay, and what that area is. Let's keep it in terms of pi until we're done. So that would be pi r squared. That's 49 pi, okay, times the height, times 15, okay? And then this, we just found the area of a what?
Rectangular prism.
A cylinder. This is the volume of a cylinder. If there's a cylinder at the top here, okay, that's what we just found. Because the cylinder is clearly going to have more volume. Would you agree?
Yeah, maybe.
And here's the crazy thing. Does anyone know how much more volume?
2.
3 times. It's always, if it comes to a point, all you do is you find the volume of the regular shape and just divide by 3.
No, spheres are 2/3.
231
Or a hundred, but then it comes 1/3.
And that equals, say it one more time.
230.
No, I want to put pi in there now.
No, it's in
245.
pi.
245 pi.
I want pi.
245 pi.
I don't want pi in the answer because it says round to the nearest
Oh, I
10th.
just got that.
769.69.
769.69.
Why did you say 2?
I wrote 2 down.
I only left it in pi while we were working because I thought it'd be easier to work with. And then why did I say not leave it in pi? Because the directions say put it in the nearest 10th. If the directions say leave it in pi, leave it in pi. If the directions say nearest 10th, put it in nearest 10th. If the directions don't say, I think leaving it in pi is a little easier. You broken over there. Okay. I think you need a break too, huh? It says shade the base. Okay, so this problem actually wants to make sure that you know that what the base of this thing is.
Oh my God, slow.
Got it. Is that big square?
Ready.
Okay, so the base is 16.
I was like, how am I gonna find it?
Okay, what's the height of this thing?
No, it's the Pythagorean theorem.
So you got to pull it out. We need to figure out this height. So what's the triangle that we're going to pull out to make this? Love it. 2,
40, radical 40.
6, and
It's actually 30, radical 32.
Yeah.
Radical 32.
so 6 squared. Oh, that's the hypotenuse. So that's 36 minus 4, radical 32 for 5 minutes. Okay, so that's our height. So we're going to take this thing, which is our base,
Are we going to put 4 radical 2?
times, we're not going to mess with it because we want to go to the nearest 10th. So I personally think let's just leave it in that form, and then we're going to type it all in the calculator. And then because it comes to a point, we do what?
3.
Divide by 3.
But that's not a cylinder.
Anything that comes to a
Anything that
point.
comes to a point.
Then how did I get stuff on my test right? Because I divided by 2.
Triangles divide by 2.
We weren't doing
But it was-
shapes at that point.
It's 30.169.
30.16.
9 or 30 point.
So 30. Can you move it down, please?
Absolutely.
There it's tripled?
So that this would be a fair question to ask.
Yes, it is.
This would be a fair question to ask you to leave it in radical form. Okay. Then we'd have to play with, what happens to this. It would not necessarily be terribly hard, but.
Would it be, so it's 4 radical 2, would it be 16 times 4 radical 2?
So this is 4 radical 2. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is 16 times 4 radical 2. Yes, sorry. Divided by 3. Okay. So it would be, what's 16 times 4?
64.
64. So this answer would be 64 radical 2 divided by 3.
What's 64?
Not in your number. The heck? It means 31.3.
And that's how we would leave it. And to verify, if this was multiple choice, I would have, if I were you, I would type this in the calculator and see that it gives me 30.2. So when you guys give me crazy weird answers that are all over the place, when it says leave it in terms of pi and you give me weird answers, I type in your answer and see if it gives me what I think
And then
your
will
answer.
you mark it right?
It depends on. I think I was very generous on the last test.
Did you mark either of those answers?
I might mark, in this situation, I might mark this one wrong. Okay. This one wrong because it says to the nearest 10th. Okay. So it's like you didn't finish. If it wanted in radical, I might take off very little points for this. The state test is so mean because it's either right or wrong. You could do 15 steps right and the 16th step make one little mistake. You could say 2 times 3 is 5. Just a little mistake. You're not thinking, and the whole question is a 0.
But isn't it multiple choice?
No.
Oh, really?
It's not multiple choice.
Not all the questions are multiple choice. There are fill-ins. There are questions where you have to fill in 30.2, and if you put in 30.1, they give you no credit.
What if you don't know how to round?
Then you could lose a lot of points.
Should we practice rounding?
No. Do we really need?
Can I ask you something?
Huh?
Can you restart the notes?
Yeah.
Can I
No.
write on this?
No. Right now.
I want to ask something.
We all live in Mark's world. We're gonna pause for a second for Mark.
How do you round?
I can't pause the video.
Like 4, and then this will be 9, 9. How do you round that?
To what number?
To the nearest 10.
Okay, so if I want to round this,
I know it's you.
if I want to round this,
Yeah.
Okay, let's say I round it to the nearest whole number. Okay, nearest whole number, what is it going to be? 30. Because you go to this digit and you look at the next one and you ask, is that 5 or bigger? Only deal with the next digit.
Dumb. It makes sense, but it's dumb.
Okay, how about if I want to round to the nearest 10th?
35. 35.
Oh my gosh.
30.5, because I'd look here and there. If I want to round it to the hundreds,
Oh, 30.5.
and I like to write it like this.
Well, that's weird.
Okay, only because then I can show that I took care of rounding. And if I wanted to round it to the nearest thousandths,
500.
yeah. And what if I wanted to round it to the nearest? I did ones. What if I want to round it to the nearest tenths? Or not tenths, tens.
Oh, 30.
Okay.
Wait, so how would it be 30.500 if you're rounding the nearest thousandth, it's already in thousands, so it's not numbers after it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So how would you do that?
Yeah.
You're right. I messed up on that. That should be 4. Thank you. 499.
Yeah.
But this isn't an actual lesson.
Trying to fail.
Thank you. You're so nice, Madison.
Thank you.
I don't think you would ever say that. Okay. Okay. A cone fits inside a cylinder with a volume of 300 centimeters cubed. So what has 300 centimeters cubed?
The cylinder.
I believe it's the cylinder.
Ooh, I don't like this problem.
What is the volume of the cone?
So much. I think the 300 centimeters cubed is the volume of the cone, so that's our answer.
No, it's not.
What it should be. Or we can times it by 3.
We're trying to find the volume of the cone.
You
It's
how
100.
do you do that?
Why is
So
it
how
like-
many-
You don't know any of that I
Divided
mentioned.
it. So if you want
3 to 5 minute
to
basis.
triple.
And then you go from there.
Wait, how? Oh! Ooh! That's smart.
Wait, does saxophone only?
Yeah, you're way overthinking this.
Oh, you divide
I
by
know
3.
what you do.
I thought I was gonna divide the volume
Oh,
of that.
like square and then minus.
So I have these. I have all these little shapes. Okay, with they have all these little shapes. I have some that are cylinders and cones with the same base shape and the same height. So if I took this shape and I made it come to a point, I think we would understand how many cubes would be in that pyramid.
3.
Can I count?
Divide by 3.
Divide by 3. So if there is however many are in this. Now, I want to talk to you guys super quick about the how many jelly beans are in the jar, how many of the...
Oh, can we see who gets the closest?
Sure.
Can pass it around.
Can you take them?
After notes, I'll pass it around.
Question, can you take them like out of the thing?
No.
No, I meant in general, like.
Like when we're done?
Yeah.
Yeah. When everyone's made a guess?
Yeah, I make a tower.
Do you know how much?
I'm
is in there?
guessing.
No, you will be distracted from the notes.
I know the notes.
Oh wait, they're not jelly beans.
We got one problem left.
Good job, buddy.
They're freaking plastic cubes, okay?
Somebody asked a very good question. The formula sheet, will it be given to you on the test? The answer is yes.
On your text?
Yes.
Yes.
Wait, what did you say?
Sorry.
The formula sheet will be given to you on the test. The
49.
formula sheet looks,
Do we have to put this on every test from now on?
Yeah.
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 Yay! Really? Yay!
Ooh, Mr.
Just like
McConnell,
how
I have
the
You're
the-
welcome.
Mr. McConnell.
Yeah, quizzes are always open notes and books, aren't
Oh
they?
yeah,
Funny.
true.
Yeah.
I have
I was
the last sheet.
Yeah. We'll have
Okay.
I do.
When we get that on that.
1/3 times the
No, I'm-
radius, times the radius. 4/3 pi, I thought.
Yeah, it's
pi.
1/3 pi, 1/3 pi r.
Yeah,
Pi
pi
r
times the
cubed.
radius.
Why does your pi look weird?
Yeah,
It's
you
a
are pi
table.
right.
It really looks like pie.
It's a
Table.
No, you just aren't a squiggle.
It doesn't have to be no
Come on.
squiggle.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's
it's
a
just
squiggle.
pie.
I
remind you.
Nobody cares if it has a squiggle or not, it's pi.
So this is purely a calculator question. 4/3 pi 7. Now, I want to ask you, here's my question. What, I don't know that you can mess this one up, put it in the calculator.
Knowing my look, I could.
61.333333333333.
Let me see.
Oh, I've seen a square foot equation before.
Oh, yeah.
Simple
I have it.
And is this your answer?
Don't you just leave the pi out?
Oh yeah, so he said in terms of pi. So how do I, this calculator I like a lot. Let me show you a trick super quick.
You have squares.
Okay. Yes, so he put squared instead of cubed.
Is it supposed to be squared? Oh, my bad.
So watch this on this calculator. You can go up and highlight this right here, hit enter, and it brings that down.
I didn't know that.
You can change this number to 3, hit enter. Okay. You can hit the math button and say, I want this in a fraction, but I don't actually want that in a fraction. I want, yeah, I guess I want it in a fraction. Math, fraction, and it'll turn that into a fraction for me.
Yeah, I knew it.
If I want to work with this number and say, just kidding, I want to, I want it in terms of pi, I can go up and I can hit enter and it'll bring that number down.
And then put pi next.
And I can put pi next to it and say,
What do we
That's
round to?
what's the question say?
Nothing.
It says find the.
So what do we round to?
No, I'm talking.
Find the volumes in terms of pi.
Hold on, let me write that.
No,
Hold on 1 second, please.
so that's what we would put. Alright.
Oh,
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Mr. McConnell, I put a mixed number in my answer.
that's fine. Though I would guess it's not going to be a mixed number if it was multiple choice, but
Okay, so why is the formula our radius cubed?
Because
It's the
because
height
you're finding
is
it's 14. It's 3D.
say again.
I know
Guys,
it's the
you know
height of
what? I really like teaching. No,
Not finished.
No.
Question.
yeah. Ryan, please.
Is the, like, wouldn't the height be 14?
The height be 14.
Yeah. The radius.
I mean, yeah.
32.
Yeah.
The diameter.
Yeah.
Yes, it would.
It's like.
So area of the base.
Up to down is 2 radians.
Okay, so let's dissect this. I like this question. So if we just said this
That's the
hemisphere, right?
So then
Area of the base,
it would be R cubed.
pi r squared, times the height, which would be
And then you'll create a
r.
cylinder if
Yeah.
you multiply
So
it
it'd be
by
R cubed
So
times pi.
so it comes to a point which makes it
cylinder.
divide by 3, but it's not a straight point. Okay, so we're going to divide by 3 because it comes to a point. So can you tell me what this adds? And that's why this is in a 1 up here. And because we're talking about half of the hemisphere, this is, in a sense, the formula for this thing here is what? 2/3 pi r cubed.
Well, like, I don't think your answer is that question. Why can't we just,
Why can't we what?
why can't we just multiply already squared by 14 times 4 over 3?
Can I?
Why is it already cubed?
Because
You can, but this part of the formula here is accounting for that.
Okay.
So that's why this is not, this is a 4 because it's 2 times the 7. Okay, so they're, in a sense, they took the same formula and they said, if this was a cone, you want me to stop talking?
No. I get it.
Okay.
I get it.
If this was a cone, our formula is pi r cubed, in a sense, but 1/3. Okay. So this little extra, they figured out that this little extra piece here made this a 2. And because it's a whole sphere, made it a 4. Did I answer your question?
No.
You seem really unsatisfied. Huh?
You didn't, but.
can I?
Yeah.
So you're asking me why can't you just multiply it by the height?
Yeah.
Because the circle in the middle is just a plain circle, and then if you add up the circles until you get to a height, it's a cylinder, not a sphere.
But then you're, why are you going to multiply? 4 over 3. Am I not getting it? Am I just like dumb or something?
You're not dumb.
Okay,
We're just not
let's move on.
we're just not communicating.
Let's move on.
Wait, you keep that in for thing, please.
Is that all the notes?
Yeah.
Can I see the thingy?
Right.
Okay, so if you want to make a guess on this, okay,
I'll go after Brody.
and then I'll tell you how I'm going to guess, and then let's put it on a little piece of paper so that we can keep each other honest.
You'll probably get it right no matter what.
Yeah.